The next director was Clara Lawrence, and she will be speaking to you in just a few minutes. When Wendy stepped aside because of health issues, Clara Lawrence stepped up. She was another long-time volunteer at the gallery, and she served over 6 years as just director. If you know Clara, you know she's a true peacemaker. And she connected us with so many local and national peace groups. She is an advocate for women's rights, Native American ministries of the United Methodist Church. Maybe she'll tell you more about that. And you know that her welcoming personality helped us to bring a strong community to this gallery and better relationships with the church. She also established a scholarship program where we gave scholarships of $1,000 to students, undergraduate and graduate students, who were working in the arts and who matched our vision. Clara also helped us to survive COVID. So that leads us to 2021. Clara stepped aside, and I don't know why, but she convinced me to help find the next director. Now you're going to hear from Clara.
Thank you, Joanne. That was really nice. I think most of you that I know here know me, and I am not a public speaker. So I appreciate your love and attention for whatever I try to say to you tonight. My story of Swords and Plowshares is I was born in Detroit. I knew I belonged here in Detroit. And one day I was walking on the street and I saw a place that I had walked in once before, and it was a jewelry store. Well, I walked in the door and Jim Brista greeted me and told me about Swords into Plowshares. I was amazed, totally amazed at this man and what he had to tell me. And by the time that visit ended, I found myself as a Saturday volunteer here for the next 5 or 6 years. My first workers that I worked with, besides Mr. Bristow, who and his wife were just amazing. They became personal friends to me also. Taught me a lot more about Detroit. When I was a visitor here, my Saturday workers were Ray and Grace Basmore, Sylvester Devereaux, whom I love dearly, and his family, and Bob Messerlian, who I also have been in touch with until his recent death. He and his sister are in the same nursing home that my cousin Tom is in. So I saw them quite regularly over the years before Bob passed. But these people were my co-workers, my co-conspirators, people that I love so, so dearly. And during that time also, as Joanne said, when Jim died, this very, very strong, perky, extremely strong woman who was only about 4 feet tall, took over, Wendy Hamilton, whom I learned so much about the peace and social justice system. I learned about Central Church. I was attending Farmington Church, Farmington First United Methodist. And that's where I met Ed Rowe, Janet Moody, so many people, Clara Webb from the church. There were so many people from the church that joined me here at the gallery, either on my volunteer days, or I knew them through Wendy. Wendy was also a member of Central Church. I learned so much from Wendy about the social justice community in Detroit, in and around Detroit. And I went on every march and every event that I could. And I wanted to invite these groups here to the Peace Center. It seemed like this was the place that all of these groups should be meeting. We have this fabulous place. It's a place of peace. When you come in here, the artwork, there was often children's artwork. We have Visions of Peace every year that we did. And that was something that was very dear to me, because I believe our hope is not in us. Our hope is in the children, and what we teach the children about their future and our future and the future of our world, I think is so very important. And to see the artwork that these teachers all around Michigan, not just Detroit, but Michigan, Ohio. I have nieces in California. 2 of them are teachers. They send artwork from their school up here, and that continues to be one of the most special art exhibits. I hope that you all continue to come to that. It's called Visions of Peace, and that's what the big sign is. A few years ago, some of the students put that up there, and thankful to Ian for leaving that up there. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect for who we are and what we are. I wanted to say when I first started here too, I think that before Jim Brista died, the director was Wink and George Coventry. And I don't remember if it was them together or if it was just Wink, but Wink is an artist, and she was also one of the first people that I met here that, and I'm so glad to see Wink and George here still today. They've still been my fast friends all these years. So many people are that you don't see all the time, but you know you have a good connection to an awful lot of people. Other people here at church were Amanda Goodme, I said, Clara Webb, Jackie Washington for women's rights, Marion Kramer, General Baker, Phyllis Livermore, Marty Alston, who is here today, Maureen Taylor, Marion Kramer, and of course, Ed Rowe and Reverend Jill Sundell was so very helpful during the last years that I had here at the gallery. She participated in all of our events. She even let me serve wine. And I had this great idea about taking the artwork to the roof of the church and having a little cocktail party up there in an opening, and I was very glad to hear tonight. That was one thing that I really wanted very much to accomplish while I was here, joining the church, because the church, this place is the church. We are a mission of Central United Methodist Church, the church conference, we always have been. And I wanted to have that cocktail party up there, and Reverend Perez told me today that he's had many cocktail parties up there. So he volunteered on something that I couldn't do, but in my retirement years, I was really hoping that that would get done. I knew for a very long time that I wanted to serve here at Central. And I was involved in my Methodist church in Farmington. We did a lot of volunteer work, and some of the volunteer work that we did brought me here to Central. And of course, that's partly how I met a lot of you too, doing volunteer here work at the church. We painted Bill Francis. I was going to tell us this funny story about him and his mixing of colored paints. We were all wondering what the lunchroom for Noah was going to look like, because he had this purple and this gold together. And I believe those colors are still up there, and it's fabulous. I was wanting to apologize to him that some of us people kind of like joked about it. The other person that helped me so much here was a very kind and sweet soul, Reverend Frank Leneke. And when I retired, I knew again that I wanted to be part of this place, and I wanted to be part of Central United Methodist Church. I took a vacation to care for my sister who was dying of cancer in California. And while I was there, Reverend Leneke passed. He and I shared the same birthday, not the same birth date, but our birthday was the same. And I feel very, very bad and very sad, Reverend Rowe, that I wasn't here at that time for him, because he really helped me. One day, I was already working here at the gallery, and Reverend Leneke said he was looking, did I know anybody that wanted to be a secretary? No pay, of course, just part-time secretary for this wonderful, wonderful, he called himself wonderful too, Reverend Frank Leneke. And I volunteered. And Reverend Leneke asked me one question. He said, did I play chess? And I said, yes, but I play for fun, not to win. And this is true because that's how I taught my children. I love to play chess, but I always let them win. So somehow I said the right thing to Reverend Leneke, and he said, you're hired. And again, no pay, but that was a wonderful 2 or 3 years that I spent helping Reverend Rowe and mostly Reverend Leneke during that time. One day, did I say earlier when Jim Brista called me in here to work, he put me on the board. And I didn't know anything about the board of Swords into Plowshares. And I can't say that I did very much for those 10 years or so. But in 2014, I think Joanne said the board was meeting because Wendy was ill. Wendy Hamilton was ill. And the board was meeting, and for some reason I came to that board meeting, and they were beginning to raise their hands and vote on closing the gallery. Is this kind of the right story, Pauline? If you'll tell me if I'm wrong, just stop me. But as I remember, I was listening at this board meeting, and I said, why? We have to wait till Wendy gets better and come back. And that was agreed, but they said, perhaps, Clara, you'd be like to be the interim director. And that's kind of, for whatever reason, I did raise my hand and I said I would do it. I knew nothing about it. But it turned out wonderful. I was interim director for 2 years or 4 years, I don't know. And then when Wendy died, I became the director here at the gallery. And this place was my home. My sons were going to come tonight and verify that. Mother lived here. I lived here. I truly love this place. I truly love all of you, all the people that I've met here and gotten to know in so many different ways. I appreciate your help, your support, your understanding for everything that I've tried to do and tried to say tonight. And I know that our world is in a terrible, terrible mess. And we're all dealing with it in different ways. And I can only hope and pray for all of us that we continue to do our best. And I know we have to do that together. So I hope we'll always, always stay together, whether it's a table full or a building full. But thank you so much for everything. You do.